Hi, this is Lisa with Holland Designs Crochet. Today I have been busy working on my temperature blanket for 2023. I started this in January and I've been working it each month. I've been doing the 1st through the 15th of each month. So I've worked January dates, February, March, and then I'm just finishing up the April dates today. So it's basically 15 rows, and rather than doing it just day by day, I'm just like catching up once a month with my 15 rows for the month. And the reason I'm just doing 15 days per month rather than a full 30 days or 31 days, it's just because temperature blankets can get to be really, really large. So if you had 365 rows for an entire year, that would just be way too large for a blanket, even if you were just doing like single crochet. So this particular pattern is a 2-row repeat. It's a really pretty texture, and actually texture is different on both sides. Kind of see it's a bit of a waffle ribbed texture, really pretty. So if you aren't even interested in doing a temperature blanket, this pattern would be just gorgeous just for a single color. You know, it's quite a pretty design. And then the other side is a little bit of a more of a raised ribbed type texture that way. So I've really been enjoying working on this one. You can see temperatures have been varying, and I've just started using, I did 2 rows of an electric blue, so my temperatures have changed from the previous months. And I'll show you what I've included in the pattern. So in the pattern itself, I created a chart before I started, and I just assigned different colors that I knew were available in this particular yarn brand that I'm using. And I just did basically temperature ranges about 5 degrees, and this is Fahrenheit that I'm using for each of the color sections, basically, because I wanted a good variety. And also I decided to do even temperatures and odd temperatures. So that really gives a great variety and a really pretty stripe effect. I've seen other people have done temperature blankets, and then if they live in a climate that's doesn't vary that much, it ends up being almost a solid colored blanket, and it's not really that interesting. So I thought doing the even and odd temperatures was a really good way to create variety and really keep this pattern really interesting. Someone has decided to join us for this video. Toffee Pop, you are making a nuisance of yourself, aren't you? I'm about to join the last color for April, and I have this duck egg blue that I'm going to use for the last 2 rows of for the month. So basically what I had done this morning is I went onto the website where I can find the historical data for the Greek Isles that I'm charting, and I wrote down April temperatures that were listed there, the high temperatures, and I just did days 1 through 15 and just wrote down the temperature, and then I went through my chart and wrote down the color and just crossed them off as I worked each one. So you can see I've got 2 more rows to do. So that will be the end of April for me. And I've been keeping all of the yarn that I'll be using for the temperature blanket in this handy little travel bag, basically. Just keeping it in my craft room so that it doesn't get in the way, and I make sure I know where everything is when I come back to the blanket the next month. And it's actually kind of funny because when this bag has been sitting around, my husband's like, "When are you going to unpack this bag?" He thinks it's, you know, from some traveling that I've done or something, just like leaving it laying around. But no, it is a yarn stash project bag. So yeah, that was a good way to keep the yarn organized, since I'll be working on this project for the rest of the year. So I've got 4 months done and 8 months left to go. The way that the color changes are done on this blanket is quite simple, and it's really nice. You don't have to weave in any ends. So all you do is you work the row until you have 1 stitch remaining still to work. So this row ends with 2 back post double crochets, and so I've just worked 1 of those stitches, and then I've just trimmed my yarn to about that length, and I've tied on the new color using a magic knot. So these ends will just be trimmed later on. And so all I'll do then with the remaining color for that row is I'll just work the last back post double crochet of this row, and then when that's finished, I'll basically be already on to the new color. So as I turn, do my chain one and turn and work back the other way, I'll be using the new color. The degrees of separation temperature blanket is available in my Ravelry shop as an individual pattern. It's also included as a bonus pattern in the 2023 Afghan Club. So there will be a total of 13 crochet designs in the 2023 Afghan Club. Links to both the pattern and the club are in the description box.